Oh, it's so weird. Like every time I turn around, there you guys are. And I love it. If you're anything like me, you probably think a lot. And I remember, I think it was in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, something like that. I heard some statistic that the average person gets filmed, and I forget what it was, 17 or 26 times a day, one of the two. And I remember it being offensive. Like, people are filming me 17 to 26 times a day? What in the world? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, security cameras, and you walk in a grocery store or restaurant or gas station or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I suppose. But at the time, it just felt like, wow, I don't know if I want to be watched that much. I remember once everybody got phones on their cameras, then it would be like, you can't just get away with stuff because like everybody's watching and they're going to have like video evidence of you in HD and they're going to turn you in. And I remember being like, I don't know if I like this. Now, time has passed, and these days, I don't know. I mean, I film constantly. A lot of it I do on purpose. And I just realized that really my entire life is on display, and, I'm okay with it. But Jimmy and I were talking the other day, and Jimmy is a wonderful person, an amazing musician. I'm going to go see him tonight again for the second time this week because I think he's that good. Him and Chris and Lindsay, they do a great job. So you should come out there. Where are you guys playing tonight, Jimmy?
O'Shea's.
At O'Shea's. In
North Richland Hills?
In NRH. Very good. So come out. What, 9 to 1?
9 to 1.
Yeah, good. So I'll be there. Anyway, we were talking about, so I was reading in Psalms, I think day before yesterday while I was having breakfast, and it said, does the one who made the eye not see? Does the one who designed the ear not hear? Does the one who created the mind and the one who teaches, does he not have wisdom? Can he not see your every thought and your every move, everything that you see and everything that you hear? You think you're going to hide from him? Now that's just dumb. That's just dumb. And I remember being like, getting filmed a couple times a day, however, a couple dozen times a day, seems like a lot. But I could still feel like maybe I could get away with some stuff. But if you're like, man, everything I say and do and think and feel is being recorded, and I'm gonna have to give an account for that one day, kind of makes you think a little bit like, maybe I ought to start getting this right. Because either way, we're not our own. Either way, we will give an account for our life. And I don't know if you guys can hear that wind, but it's serious out there. I'm pretty sure that I just saw Dorothy coming by.
And your little dog, too.
Yeah, and the Wicked Witch, I'm about to get some new ruby red slippers. Anyway, so there was a guy in the Bible, Jonah, and he thought, I'm going to run away from God. Because he had a calling from God on his life. And God said, I want you to go to Nineveh, and I want you to preach to these people. Well, here's something they don't talk about a whole lot. The Jews did not like the people from Nineveh. Not even a little bit. They were like, we don't like you. It would be like, I don't know, Jews being told, hey, go preach to the Nazis. And you're like, I don't know if I want to preach to the Nazis. I don't like those people.
They're not going to hear me real good.
Yeah, I don't want them to be saved. I don't like them. And so when God told him to go and do that, he's like, I've got a different plan. I'm going to run away from you. And so he got on a boat and was like, God won't catch me out here. I'm going to go to the far end of the world. And he thought that, right? And then a huge storm came, kind of like the one that's outside right now. Probably bigger.
Maybe a little less, but yeah.
Yeah, huge storm to the point where everybody on the boat, who were not Jews and who were not obviously Christians, because that was before Jesus, were like, who did something wrong to anger the gods? This is not natural. We've never seen anything like this. There's a vengeance with this storm. Who did something wrong? And they're looking around, and Jonah's like, funny story, it was me. And they're like, what did you do? And he goes, well, God told me to go preach to the Ninevites, and I'm running away. And they're like, and you got on our boat? You jerk. Now we're going to die with you. And he's like, throw me over. I understand this is my fault. Throw me over. And they're like, you know what?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So they pick him up and they throw him over. And God provides a way, even though we're dumb. And look, I'm dumb constantly. And then I'm like, thank you, God, for your mercy. And thank you for making a way for me. And for you guys too. And for Jonah. And so he's thrown in to the sea. And they're like, thank God. And immediately the storm is calmed. And a big fish, a whale, comes and gobbles him up in one big bite. And then he lives inside the whale's stomach for 3 days, which is a foreshadowing of Jesus. And then the whale spits him up. He can spit him up anywhere. Where do you think he spits him up? You want to take a guess?
Nineveh?
A lot of people are going to say Nashville, but you're right. Nineveh is the answer.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, Nashville. It was that or Kansas City. But turns out right there at Nineveh, like, bleh, and there's the city. And like I said, how about go and do what I told you to? And so Jonah's like, I'm mad at you because when I preach to them, they're going to repent and you're not going to hurt them anyway. And God's like, I know.
Duh.
Because I love them too. And he says, there are 100,000 people in this city who I love. Let me have mercy on them. You are the instrument of my mercy. And Jonah's like,
Stupid mercy.
And he goes in and he preaches, and guess what happens? They're all like, so God that just made this huge storm and put you in a whale for 3 days, and you've got this amazing story, that God is going to destroy our city if we don't repent? And they're like, guys, we need to repent. And then they did, and God had mercy. And Jonah was mad. He was mad at God. He was mad at the people, and he was bitter. What'd you save the Nazis for? So, you know.
They're just going to kill me next year.
Yeah, watch this. But God had mercy on them. And if you think that you're going to run away from God, and I know a lot of people, I've talked to several people recently that are like, I've been running from God for a long time. I had 2 people last night that said, I've been running from God for a long time. And I'm like, stop. You think this is going to get better for you? You want to go get swallowed up by a whale? You want to be in a bad storm? Or you want to just like go, hey, God said to do this, and I'm going to go do it. I can't run away from him. I don't want to run away from him. He's taking care of me. I'm going to go do the right thing.
Gonna swallow it and go it and do it.
Stop
Just
fighting God, because you know what happens when you stop fighting God? You realize he wasn't doing this to punish me. He was doing this to help me and to heal me and to get rid of the yuck in my life.
Yep. And he showed you what the yuck was real obvious.
Yeah, just made it rise to the top. He's like, let's skim that off and we're going to leave you with pure gold. It just takes a while to get there. All right, so we're going to go try to weather this storm, and we'll see you guys tonight at Jimmy's show. Hey, guys. I feel like I haven't seen you since last year. It breaks my little heart because I love you guys. Now, we didn't do a whole lot today. We did thinking stuff, which always to me feels like you didn't do nothing. But it is important. It is important to plan ahead, because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? So me and Valerie and Mike and everybody got together, and we all thought, where do we want lights and where do we want switches and outlets and things like that? We got our electrician out here, and he did all some stuff. And then Steve Lux came out to look at plumbing and gas lines, and he's an amazing person. He had great insight on what we should do. Now, it occurred to me, first of all, I just want to say, I'm so grateful that the holidays are over. And I know that most of you like the holidays. I personally don't. And, you know, I have my reasons why. Most of the reasons why is because I've been single for freaking ever. And so usually it's a time of loneliness for me. I stayed busy this whole season, so I didn't even miss it. I was like, cool, I did some fun stuff, and I got to hang out with you guys, and that was nice, and I didn't feel sad or anything, which is good. Now, I know some of you guys did feel sad, and this breaks my heart. I just want to say that probably some of you, by the law of averages, feel like nobody has it worse than you. You had a pretty bad life. And that breaks my heart. But I just want to say this. If we knew what people went through, we would be a whole lot more kind. If everybody took their masks off and all the things that they pretend to be tough and cool and pretty and all that stuff, and if they just took their mask off and we all saw what we were really dealing with, if we put everything in the middle of the room and we said, here's all my problems, here's my anxiety, and here's all the things that I worry about, and here's what my soul looks like, and then you could pick anybody else's problems, most of us would look and go, man, I'm really sorry. I'm going to take these problems back, and I will never say another word, because it turns out I don't have it that bad. And even when you think, oh man, but that person's rich, or that person's famous, or that person's whatever, you don't know what they're going through. You don't. And you know, more money, more problems, right? And that's a true story. Like, I had somebody years ago, and they worked for me, and I was younger, then I was in my 20s, and he starts complaining to me about basically $10 worth of problems, right? And I was like, trying to make him feel better, I said, oh yeah, well, I got $10,000 worth of problems, right? You know, we didn't say it like that, but he said, I've got these problems, like, you know, I can't pay my water bill, it's $20. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm owed $250,000. You know, like, it's a much bigger number. And he didn't skip a beat. He just goes, John, we both have the same problems. You just got a couple more zeros behind it. And I was like, you're right. And I'm sorry for trying to make you feel less than because your problems have a lower number than mine do. Because we are all dealing with the same thing. So be kind. Be kind to people. Take this opportunity to like, be nice. And when you're like, I want to get mad at them, stop. Take a beat and go, you know what? They might be going through something I don't know. They might have just found out they got cancer. They might have just found out that their spouse is cheating on them. They might have crippling debt and be about to go bankrupt or lose their house or some horrible thing. Their kids may be in a horrible place. They may have just had friends die. We don't know what they're dealing with. So be nice to people, right? It's not that hard. Tomorrow, hopefully we're gonna have more progress to show you because today was, and I was real lazy about making videos. So love you guys, see you tomorrow. Oh, hey. If you're anything like me, I think it would be a lot easier to make New Year's resolutions if I could make them for you. So nobody makes any for me, that's not the rules, but like I would make New Year's resolutions for you. Like I wish they would be nicer to me and maybe just give me money for nothing and whatever. I think that would be a lot better. Now, today, it looks like we've done basically nothing, but if you take a quick glance around, you'll see that we did kind of something. So we started these steps. These are not the permanent steps. These are just we're working steps, right? Later on, we're gonna make some really nice finished steps. And then tomorrow, we're gonna finish the staircase out in metal and have floating steps, which is gonna be really cool. We also got started doing some wiring. I got my electrician out here, so you can see so this is how this works, right? It comes from the breaker box up to here. This is gonna be a three-way switch that goes down to there, which turns these lights on up here. This comes up here to this light. We haven't done it yet, but it will connect to all these lights over here. Then it connects to that outlet, to this GFCI outlet in the bathroom, and then bang, 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 light, exhaust fan, and another outlet, okay? So that would be one circuit, and it's within our limits, and we've done all the math. I had my electrician do it and all that. So, Mike, you're pretty smart, right? He's shaking his head, yes. So did you realize that Mortal Kombat, the video game, was based off of a hymn? Nope, I screwed that up. Was based off of a church song from Finland. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's a finish him. I'm sorry. All right, so let me show you what else we did. So out here we'll have a switch that then comes out to all of these lights. Bang, 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 bang. All the way down over here. And then if we go over here, we can see James on the phone. That'll be nice. Come on. Yeah, he's talking to, I don't know, a boyfriend or something.
Ordering some caulk.
Do what?
Ordering some caulk.
Yeah, we ran out of caulk, so James is probably going to get some more caulk. Now, C-A-U-L-K, just to be clear, we're not talking about male chickens here. Okay, what else do you want to talk about, Mike? You got anything? Got anything on your heart?
Not really.
You don't have, you got a heart still.
No.
Well.
No, it's long gone.
I don't think that's really true. What's a good thing to talk about? Forgiveness, we always talk about that. It's so important though. Being kind to people, so important. That should be your New Year's resolutions. Not, I mean, we don't want you to drink, we don't just smoke, and you should probably eat better and exercise and all that, probably lose about 50 pounds or whatever it is that you need to lose. But if you forget all that stuff and you're just nice to people, that's really what's gonna matter. Like, be kind, not just like, oh, they were nice to me and so I was nice back to them. So this is a good point, right? This is probably what was on your heart, Mike. Jesus himself said, if you are kind to the people that love you, that sounds good so far, right?
Right.
How are you any better than anybody else? How are you better than the pagans? How are you better than the unbelievers? If you are just nice to people that are nice to you. And he says, love your enemies. Well, that seems backwards. It says, bless those who curse you. That seems pretty backwards. Turn the other cheek if somebody punches you in the face. Walk the extra mile. I know we've talked about that before. And you're like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to be nice to people that are nice to me. I see all this stuff online. Like, I reflect people's energy. Whatever they give, I give back to them. I'm like, that says more about you than it does about them. Sorry. Be nice to people regardless, because that's who you are. If you want to be mean to people, that's also who you are. All right, we're going to do some more work because even though we're out of caulk, we still got more wire. Oh, hey there. So I wanted to teach you guys something about three-way switches, okay? Because I feel like they're always confusing to people. So come on over here. I'm going to show you what's going on here. All right, so in this box, we have a wire coming in that's got 3 wires, right? Plus a ground. And then we got a wire going out. Now on the other box, there's another box. So a three-way switch, let me explain what this is. A three-way switch is when you have a switch here that turns on lights, but you also have a switch over there that turns on the same lights, okay? So how does that work and how do you wrap your head around it? You have power that comes in. Let's imagine this is the other box. You have power coming into that box and then power going out if you need to, right? And then you have this wire that has 3 wires in it that's called runners, okay? So then you got runners, travelers is what they're called. Travelers go between the 2 boxes. So you got power coming into that box and then a traveler. And then over here, you have a traveler coming in and then this goes out to the lights, okay? So then whenever you hook it up, you got your 2 travelers, and then this one that's twisted, that goes to the light, okay? And then we bypass neutrals, and then we twist the grounds together. So that's how that works. Now, Jimmy, you got anything on your heart?
You know, I'm just glad we were born in this time period and not any other.
Not another one? That's a good point. You know, a lot of people don't, I think about this, but you could have been born at any point during history, at any point during the past or now or in the future. And God was like, I think you're going to do well here at this time. And we all believe this is pretty close to the end of the world, right? So this is when it's the hardest. There's the most amount of stress and anxiety and things, temptations and so on and so forth. But maybe you think, I don't know, I wish I was born in the Roman times. I wish I was born during Hitler. I would have stopped him. I wish I was born in the Old West, or maybe in a different continent, or whatever in the world you think that you're like, I wish I would have been born there instead of here. Mm-hmm. And maybe you think, I would have made a difference there. I would have made such a difference there. Let me just present this to you. If you're not making a difference here, you probably would not have made a difference there either. I know that's a harsh thing to say, but I hear all kinds of people like, man, if Hitler was doing the stuff he was doing and I was there, I would have stopped him. And I'm like, have you looked around?
No doubt.
Have you looked around at what in the world's going on in the world right now? Because we kind of need to stand up against this. This is absolute tyranny. Now, this is not going to be a political video, but I'm just saying there are definitely things that need our attention. I will say this. A year and a half ago, okay, I was talking to somebody and I said, I think that this whole thing that we're dealing with, which everybody knows what we're talking about, is nonsense, which I've been very vocal about. And he said, so do I, so I won't, I don't think covering your face does any good. But he said, I'm in leadership, and therefore I'm gonna set a good example. And I stopped him and I said, I too am in leadership. People look up to me and people listen to me and I'm an influencer. And therefore I have to stand up against this. I have to stand up against it because it's wrong. And if you are following somebody that follows blindly, even when they know something is wrong, how do you respect that person?
Exactly.
How do you respect a person who bows down to something they know is wrong just because everybody else is doing it and because that's what they said, then that's what we're gonna do? Stand up and do the right thing. Make a difference now, and then you would have made a difference in the Roman time or Hitler's time or whatever in the world time it was, because that's who you are.
That's right.
But I encourage you to have the courage to stand up against the tyranny, to stand up and be like, why in the world are we still doing this? How long is this 2-week curve gonna last? Because it's been 2 years.
No doubt.
Right? How much longer are we gonna allow this? Because there's more of us than there are of them. And if we all just refuse, then what? It goes away. Anyway, let me get back to wiring. My electrician is. So, maybe today you're thinking to yourself, I wish I had some metal stairs that then had floating stairs on them. Mike, you think you can do that?
I think I can do that.
Okay, what are we gonna use?
We're gonna use my arc welder.
Oh, is that why the animals are lining up 2 by 2? Because it's an arc?
Oh man, not again.
You gonna get them?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get this arc welder, and we're gonna keep the animals at bay at least until the rain starts. Oh, there's one. Hey,
Get out of here!
How do you turn a fox into an elephant, Mike? Do you know?
No, how?
You marry her. Now that is not nice. That's not nice. That's not nice, Mike. So, also, I just want to say that it is a lot easier to be nice to somebody when they're grateful. Do you disagree? Right. He's shaking his head, yes. So here's what I found, right? Like, let's just say that you do something nice for somebody, and then they notice it, and they don't say thank you, they don't really acknowledge it or whatever. Does that make you want to do it again, or are you just kind of like, man?
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or I'm like, no.
Yeah. But what if, like, after you've been really nice to somebody, then instead of them just being like, not even acknowledging it, they're just like actually mean to you? Then would you want to be nice to them again? I just want you to know I'm writing this text with my middle finger right now.
Solely.
Yeah. Or really slowly, since obviously you can't read. All right.
Break out the arc welder.
Yeah. Put them on the arc. So, Jim and I were talking earlier, and a long time ago, I was driving along and I saw a billboard and it said, "Illiterate, write for help." Do I have to explain the irony here? All right, so we're gonna do some work. Oh, hey there. So today, we are building a manual escalator. Some people call it stairs. So, how in the world do we do this? Well, let me show you. First thing you do, scatter a bunch of tools everywhere, make a bunch of noise, and have music in the background. It really helps. All right, so in this case, because we didn't want to be stairs in the front door, then we went into the loft a little bit, right? So up top, we're making that out of wood, but it'll still be nice looking because we're gonna put the same oak stuff that we put here up there on top of those steps. We're putting temporary stairs right now because they're gonna get trashed. Spray foam, sheetrock, tape and bed texture paint, all that. Then once that's all done, we unscrew that, put on the real stairs, and it'll be beautiful. Okay, so how do we figure out this map to make this manual escalator? I'm glad you asked. So we figured out the height from here to here, right? And we measured that. And in case you didn't know, stairs are 7 inches up for every 11 inches in you go. So we figured out, like, what's the distance on that? Come with me. Watch your feet. And we measured that. So we went from this corner, which we know is square, and we made a mark up here at the same height. Then we were like, okay, well, divide that by 7, and then multiply it times 11, and come out here, 154 inches or whatever it was. And then we chalked a line. Then we figured out where our angles were on the ground where it's easier to figure out. We made a template out of wood, screwed that together, and traced it onto the steel, okay? So then we got a chop saw and cut one end, but then we had to use a torch to cut the other end, and then welded the place on, drilled holes, and then we anchored it into the concrete and anchored it into the wood with some big long lag screws, okay? Something that you might not know, when somebody is welding, they always wear a welding helmet. You've probably seen it, right? Wait for it. If you look at that with your naked eye, if you look at somebody welding with your naked eye, you will get blisters on your eyeballs. It's highly unpleasant. I recommend you don't do it because who wants to get blisters anywhere, especially on your eyeballs? So if somebody's welding, do not look at that. Even if it's far away, be like, oh, that's interesting, it looks like lightning. It is. It's an arc weld and it will hurt you. All right, so how does welding work? Basically, you're making an arc, okay? So if you've ever touched like, oops, these two wires crossed, like I clamped one and it got black, white, and brown all in one thing, it will make an explosion and it will make an arc and then it will like cut and also like weld together whatever you touch. But there's a breaker and so it stops it. With an arc welder, there's not a breaker. You're doing it on purpose. You're trying to make a continuous arc, at which point it takes that welding rod or whatever you're using and it makes an arc and then it forces that bead and then you weld those two pieces of metal together. So that's how that works. I think it's super interesting and we're gonna do it. Now let's just see if this is sturdy. Come on. Let me just try walking up the stairs. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Pretty solid. Did it bounce or move or anything?
Didn't move an inch.
No, it didn't. Safety first. Thanks, OSHA. Love you too, bye. It's so embarrassing when you guys sneak up on me. I'm just over here like thinking, how cool are these steps gonna be, right? Like, these are made out of what? Like heavy metal!
Don't cock it unless you're going to use it.
No, I wouldn't. Hold on. Stay right there. I'll be back. So earlier today, we were chopping metal and grinding metal and torching
frisbee golf.
torching metal and welding metal. And we recorded all the sounds, and if you want the album, you can buy it. And this is what heavy metal sounds like. So if you've got a record player, you like vinyl, then this is a great disc, and we recorded it today. It's a little scratchy, but I think you'll like it. So a lot of you, probably most of you, have problems with anxiety. Am I wrong? A lot of people are like, I'm so anxious. I feel like, I'm gonna have a panic attack all the time. I don't feel secure in my future. I don't feel secure in my day. Like, I don't know what's going on in my life. And my heart goes out to you. So sometimes you need like the antidote to anxiety. What is the opposite of anxiety? Mike, what do you think?
Peace.
Peace, that's a good answer. Yeah. Jimmy, what you got?
Anti-anxiety.
Anti-anxiety. Also a good answer. I think faith. I think that if you have faith and you're like, okay, and let me define what that means. I believe with all my heart that I will not die a minute before or a minute after I'm supposed to, because God is in control. I should have died 10,000 times. And God's like, your time is not yet. And when my time does come, nothing I can do will stop it. It will be my time to go. And I will go with the grace that I need to go, okay? And so I rest in that. I'm like, look, I won't go before I need to or after I need to. God is in control. Therefore, because I have faith, I don't have anxiety. It is the exact opposite. Now, if I didn't fully believe that, if I was like, I don't know if God's got me, or maybe he's on the toilet or not paying attention, or maybe he's taking a nap or whatever, like, what if something slips by him? I would have anxiety. If I sat there and thought of every possible reason why God wasn't in control, I would have anxiety. But I have faith, therefore I do not have anxiety. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's a pretty consistent theme with me that I'm not anxious or fearful about anything, because I'm in the palm of God's hand and he watches out for me. The truth is, he watches out for you too. And so rest in that. Have some peace, like Mike said. Have some anti-anxiety, like Jimmy said. And have some faith, like I said. And let that just wash away from you. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. We're gonna go see Jimmy play tonight because he's an amazing musician and a beautiful person. All right, see you guys tomorrow.
Aw, thoughtful.
Oh, so embarrassing. Hey guys, so if you're allergic to awesomeness, you might want to step back because I feel like you're about to break out in hives or whatever. I'll back up. All right, so sometimes I don't post videos for many myriads of reasons, and today's reason was it's freezing cold. I mean, okay, we learned some things today. I don't know if you can see this propane heater over here. You can probably hear it, right? That thing is blazing hot if you stand in front of it. This morning, we all turned into icicles. Now, we learned some stuff, okay? This is like 115,000 BTUs, and you're probably thinking to yourself, what's a BTU? Are you? Mike, do you know? You do know because we looked it up. We looked it up. Okay, so BTU, we hear it a lot, right? Is a British thermal unit, and 1 BTU can take 1 pound of water and heat it 1 degree Fahrenheit. Oh, do you know?
I got a question.
All right.
Why is it that they have BTUs on air conditioning units that don't have a heating?
The answer is, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, what was the calorie? T-Rex was saying yesterday, what's the calorie? What's the unit of measure on that? It's like how much it takes to take 1 degree. Yeah, I think it's the hot chocolate thing. We don't know. There's other things that you might not know. For example, tonight your pipes are gonna freeze, okay? And here's why. Because at 32 degrees, water freezes. I don't know if you knew that. Now in Texas, there's an atmospheric condition. I don't understand how it works, but in Texas, if you get below 70 degrees, everybody freezes. And right now we're like 27, and so we're basically just like at absolute zero. It's where everything stops. Even atoms are like, nope. So I was talking to these two atoms were talking, and one of them's like, I lost an electron. And the other one's like, are you sure? And he goes, I'm positive. So, sorry. So today, we did actually finally make some progress. I will tell on myself, we had screwed up something, I had screwed up something, and we had to make an adjustment, which took the better part of the day, and I was very frustrated. I threw things. I threw a thing. That shows your impression. But how did I?
Gosh darn it! Love of God Christ! Darn it!
Pretty much what happened. It was scary. I had to repent afterwards. Anyway, we finally got a template going, and we started welding the steps. We ran out of some materials because it's my fault. But tomorrow morning we're gonna get a good system going. We're gonna get these rails going, and we're gonna get some temporary steps in here. And thank God we're finally gonna be able to walk up steps instead of that sketchy ladder. Because every time I get on that, I think this is the day I'm gonna meet Jesus. What's gonna happen?
Hope you don't meet him whenever you have your temper.
I know. He'll be like, I'm not proud of you.
Boy.
I'm not proud of you right now. I'm not proud of you. What I wanted to do is
That
be
was
like,
2 gosh darn it.
I wanted to be like this. That's my son right there. I'm proud of him. I don't want to be like this, like, that's my son right there. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Yeah, you can. Oh, look at it. It looks like, can you guys see that?
How many BTUs is that?
That's, it's got to be like 1,500 maybe. I feel like a dragon. Is this what smokers feel like? I think I want to start smoking. Or vaping or whatever. That's a good habit, right? I think it's good for you.
Yeah, vaping is good for
You get the cottage cheese or popcorn lung, whatever it's called.
vitamins in it.
Oh, they vitamins? Oh yeah. And it smells like cotton candy. Delicious.
Nothing
It's healthier than apple.
candy can be bad for you.
Way healthier than meth. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. What is that smell? You guys smell it? Oh, are you on the toilet? Are you watching this video while you're on the toilet? Hey, come here, look at this. These guys are on the toilet. They're watching this on the toilet. Oh, wow. Yeah. What do you guys, I mean,
Paperwork?
is it cold? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it's freezing. Look, I can see my breath. It's weird that you look at me while you're on the toilet. Oh, hey there. You probably noticed that we've got a set of stairs now. I really like that. No more ladder. Have to wait a little bit longer before I go home to heaven. So I'm not fully upset about that. I'm not fully happy about it either. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably have patterns in your life that repeat. Mike, you got any patterns in your life that repeat? Maybe sometimes they're not that great. That sounds like a hard maybe. Jimmy, you got any patterns that repeat in your life? He nodded and said no. A lot of times I think what people don't realize is that the common denominator in all your problems is you. You are the common denominator. Me, yeah, not you, but me.
Yeah, you.
Are the common denominator. So therefore, you're like, I don't know why I keep having this problem. I'm like, could it be because you haven't changed anything? And you're just doing the same dumb thing again and again? And Mike's saying no.
Surely not.
Surely not. Just keep doing the same dumb thing and then hope for different results.
Eventually something else will happen.
According to the laws of probability, right? I can put my clothes into the dryer and just keep hitting restart, and eventually I'm gonna open it up and be like, no way. Like there's infinite possibilities, and I'm gonna be like, my clothes are folded and sorted in the dryer. I don't even understand it my own self. But probably more probability of like, you know what, I'm just gonna take them out and fold them my own self. And maybe in your own life, you got some bad things happening. Maybe you gotta change something and fold it your own self. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, we're gonna get back to work. We got some stairs though. Start on him. Okay. So I kind of feel bad for people that are building houses like peasants that don't have somebody come and visit them in their own personal helicopter. But I mean, I guess this is how the other half lives. Here, show the house.
Not this half.
It's dark, but I want to show you what we did today because it's cool. All right, let's see if I can get this. We put this rail up. It's not all the way finished yet. And we got all these stairs in, which is cool. Rail on the stairs, which is cool. And we used the fireplace for the first time, which is cool. And we cleaned up our mess, which is cool. I love clean job sites. They make me happy. Clean job sites, my favorite. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So yeah, we got all the stairs, floating stairs. How cool is that? You see right through them. That's not the finished product, but And there's the rail up there, so it's all safe. Isn't that right, Mike? He says,
Still alive.
yeah, look at us. And then fireplace, it's working. That's cool. All we're burning is asbestos and stuff. It's great stuff. All right, cool.